Welcome back to At the Hill. I'm today with my host Addison and our guest Mr. Owens. He is robotics teacher and pretty good one, I am assuming.
Oh,
if
thank
he
you.
got the, if he got it. And as you know, you can hear us on Spotify, YouTube, all on your podcast. And if you're on YouTube, please hit subscribe so you can have our lovely conversations down the road. Okay, let's get to the first question. You're on an interview. How did you get into robotics?
Well, I did robotics a little bit in high school, and I had a good time with it, but got busy in life and stuff, so I kind of phased out of it. But it was always kind of in the background there for me. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the engineering aspect of it. And then I started working here, and that was part of my job, was to teach it and facilitate it. So just kind of continued it here, and I've been having a fantastic time. Students are great, and the club's great, and we've been doing good things.
And what were your initial thoughts like taking over the robotics club? Were you nervous, excited?
Oh, immensely. Miss Leanne Yaus, who taught here for 20 some odd years before me, she was known for, the robotics program. That's what she was known for and what she did really well with. And we have all the trophies all in the room. So it's a constant reminder of like the legacy she's left behind. But considering last year was my first year with the team, we made it to regionals. We went to Denver. We got first place marketing notebook, or engineering notebook, and before that we won 6 trophies for the preseason, and then the postseason we got the one big one.
So you mentioned you got first place in engineer notebook.
Mhm.
What does that mean entirely?
So there's multiple different parts to robotics. So it's not just build the robot. It's build the robot, design the robot, program it, and then on top of that, the students have to market the robot. So the way that we look at robotics is it's a lot like a business. So there's 3 different leads on the team. I have 3 team leads. I have a build lead, a programming lead, and a marketing lead. Marketing, what they have to do is they have to take pictures of everything. They have to catalog everything and put it in a timeline order. And then they have to do research to figure out, if this was a company and we were trying to make this robot, how much would this be worth? We have this many students working on the robot for this amount of time. How much, should they be paid? Is it just minimum wage? Are we doing competitive wages where they're actually making, $20, $30 an hour? Are they getting insurance and all that? And they incorporate prices into all that, and they figure out like what the value of our potential company could be if we were actually a company. So it's a lot of work, and luckily my assistant coach, co-coach is Mr. Hill. He kind of takes lead on the marketing part because he's been doing it for a while. He's really good at it, and I more so help with the build and program team, and because they're always in my room, and so they're kind of stuck there with me. But the students last year did excellent. We did it. We had a great robot. Did a lot better than, it was the 30th anniversary. Every 10 years they make the competition very hard. So it's the 30th. Of course, it's my first year with the team, so it's got to be very difficult, And they did excellent. Our robot wasn't the lowest run robot for sure. We weren't the highest, but we were nice in the middle there. It was not an easy competition. This year's competition, it's not a 10-year anniversary, but it's equally as hard. It requires a lot of articulation and fine motor movements, so we're kind of working around that and trying to find some shortcuts to it, and it's working out pretty well.
So you feel the students were guiding you along the way, helping you?
Yeah, well, I feel like we're as much working with each other. They knew what the team was supposed to look like because they had been in the club. For my seniors, they had been in there for 3 years at that point, that being their 4th year last year. So they had already seen it, through a few years, and they kind of knew the cycle and the rhythm. And I stepped into it, started figuring out the cycle and the rhythm, and then I ran with it. And this year we've changed a few things. We've made it a little bit more organized, but then that way we're not just like putzing around for the first 2 hours trying to figure out who's where. It's like we have jobs, this is what we're doing, and let's get to it.
So it seems very organized. Nothing seems very sloppy.
Yes, a lot more organized this year. If you come into my room during robotics, it is chaotic, but it's chaotic order. So.
Well, some people like that.
Yeah, I feel like any classroom is chaotic order right there. So.
Yep.
Do you think you're going to go to regionals this year? Are you pretty confident?
Yeah, I feel pretty confident.
He's confident.
Yeah.
He's going for it.
So last year, our marketing team lead was Genevieve Browning. And this year, it's also Genevieve Browning. And so she learned a lot last year on what worked well, what didn't, what we needed to improve. And she ran with that. And this is her senior year, so she really wants to you know, do her best, and I want my team to do the best. So I think we're all working together to make sure we make it to
Yeah.
regionals. So
You keep on bringing up marketing there. Is marketing like a very, very huge step in it?
marketing is for Rose Hill important.
Okay.
That is what we consistently do well in.
Okay.
The other parts, there's a lot of different teams, and the problem that we have with Rose Hill, and it's not a problem with Rose Hill, but it's that we're a small school. So, you know, our max roster this year when we were at our biggest was 25, maybe 27. And that's like if you showed up once and you're like, I want to be here, and then we never saw you again, we still included you in that roster.
Okay.
Meanwhile, for a larger school, like where I went to high school, our small days were 27. Like that's when we had
wow.
my graduating class was pretty big. So we had a lot more people to work through and all that. And like for me, my freshman year in high school, I did robotics and I didn't really do anything else. But here at Rose Hill, we're a smaller school and students are very involved. So you're not just in robotics, you're not just in theater, you're not just in band, you're in all three of them, or you also do video production or whatever. Like there's multiple things, multiple students here are doing multiple things at the same time. So it's kind of hard to balance sometimes. But, for marketing, it's more of a consistent thing that we can have students working on it. And so consistently we do well with marketing. And build just depends on the year. This year's a hard one, and last year was a hard one. So hopefully we can, score pretty high. But if not, we did our best, and that's what matters.
So you like a small school for robotics better than a big school, in your opinion?
I think I just like a small school in general.
Okay.
Coming from a big school, and then I worked before this, I was at Northeast Magnet. It was a smaller school as well. I think there's maybe 100 or 200 more students than Rose Hill. But I like the small school. I like the fact that, that students know the teachers and vice versa. Teachers know the students. It's not just like, who? Like I remember like larger schools of being like, I have Mr. Jones for math, and it's like, where's that at? Like in the math hallway is like 10 people. Like
Yep.
it's really large. So I enjoy a small school because I feel like we're more personable,
Yeah.
So
So let's do some personal hobbies. What kind of stuff outside of school? What's your personal hobbies?
I'm a major nerd. So Star Wars has ran my life since I was a child, and it still does. And we had an unofficial D&D club last year where we just kind of met in my room, and I had 2 different games going at the same time. And
I think I heard of that.
Yeah.
I think I heard a little background noise talking
yeah,
about that.
probably. Yeah, we weren't quiet. So we had a good time. It was really good fun. But I really just, like I said, I'm kind of a nerd. So like at home, for a while I was painting D&D minis. I've gotten back into reading a little bit more. I'm really into sci-fi books, so I'm going through the Dune series right now, which they're really good. Like if you've seen the
Yeah.
Dune movies and you're like, dang, that was
Yeah.
good. Like read the
The
Dune
movie
books.
was really good.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. But if you read the book, you're like, whoa, that's crazy. Like,
Yep.
just small stuff here and there. I have a fiance and I have a dog, so that's kind of my life at home. Is like when I'm done at the school here, I go home and then we watch our movies or whatever. And I got my little girl dog. I'm a dog dad, so and that's my daughter right
That's
there. Yeah.
So if you talked about art, and I in the art room
Mhm.
a lot of times, I see you pop in once or twice. Are you friends with the art teacher, or do you just love seeing the artwork in there?
Yes, both.
All of
I've always been into art. I did a lot of art in school, and I just was clearing through some closets, and I found my old like art books, sketchbooks, palettes. Like not one particular medium is interesting to me. I like them all, just whatever works for what you need to do. And when I was at Northeast teaching, right across the hall was one of the or actually 2 of the art teachers, but one bounced in and out. So like in my, plan periods, my free time, I would go and talk to the other art teachers and see what they're doing. So it's nice,
Yeah.
I know the layout of the school real easy, and during my free time, I just pop into the same classes, check on, students, see how they're doing. And
Okay.
it's always fun. You get to see that progression of work throughout
Yeah.
the semester,
Were you gonna pursue art as a career before that? Did you have like any other like career ideas before you?
I originally wanted to be an engineer. I wanted to be like an architectural engineer, kind of building opera houses. I was really into music and sound. And I was like, dang, that's difficult. Like, that would be a lot of work.
Well,
And
robotics seems very difficult.
yeah, and I still am in engineering. But I really wanted to do that. But my junior year of high school, we had a program called environmental science. And in environmental science, the first semester you learned about all these animals in the room. We had snakes in the entire room. We had an owl that was imprinted, which means that it never learned how to be an owl. So owls don't have a lot of natural or instinctual behaviors. They have to be taught them.
So a bunch of living creatures, you mean? Not
Yes.
dead. Okay.
Yeah. So we had a bunch of snakes. We had an owl that didn't know how to owl, so it thought it was a human. So that's why we had it. And my teacher was licensed to handle him. We had a room full of mammals. We had a greenhouse, and we had like a conservation area in the back. We weren't even the largest environmental program in the district, but we had a pretty sizable one.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was really exciting. So the first semester, we learned about all the animals in the room. We had mammals, we had fish, reptiles, amphibians, and then bugs. We had some different spiders and, like the Madagascar cockroaches and all that stuff. And so that was the first semester. We learned everything in the room. And then second semester, we taught to middle schoolers and elementary schoolers. They came to our school, and we taught them about animals, conservation, all that stuff. At the time I was joking, I was like, what if I became a teacher because of this? And then like throughout the year, I was like, ooh, I think teaching would actually be really fun. I think.
What if I did become a teacher?
What if I did become a teacher? Yeah.
So that experience was the one that led you to teaching, you'd say?
Yeah, people before told me they thought I should be a teacher. They were like, they thought I was personable. They, I know a bunch of random stuff, and I'll just go on a tangent, and I'll start talking for like 20 minutes about this random topic I learned one time. And they're like, you'd be a really fun teacher. And I was like, I don't know. I kind of want to be a nerd in a room and do some engineering stuff. And then I took that class, and I was like, I would really enjoy teaching. This is really fun, and I've had a great time,
Nice.
So
Makes sense.
no.
Well, I believe you had to go somewhere, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I don't mean to cut this time short. I love speaking with you guys, and I'd love to talk to you more.
But for time's sake, we should probably last 4 questions real quick.
For sure.
So you say you like art. Do you have any art pieces you would willing to like maybe show to your classes? You bring art to your classes or no?
Yes, I bring some of my D&D miniatures.
Okay.
Those are fun.
I do remember those.
Yes, those are those are really fun. And I wouldn't be opposed to it. I've been finding my random stuff. I did a copy of Starry Night one time, just like for fun with some acrylics, and it's not the best, but it looks pretty fun,
Okay.
So
You're up, Addison?
Okay. So, would you ever like become an art teacher? Like, if you had to teach any other subject, what would you teach besides the ones that you teach right now?
yeah, if I wasn't teaching like
Yeah.
science, I assume. Not English. I can barely speak the language. It'd have to be either some form of art or I like the storytelling aspect of history. It's a bunch
Yeah.
of stories together, but there's a lot of dates that I'm not going to remember. Like that's a lot of stuff there. Yeah, art would probably be the other one that I'd teach.
Okay. So you said, so your passions that I'm seeing is art, science, and robotics.
Yes.
Do you wish that you went into something else, or are you happy where you are now?
I'm happy where I am.
Okay.
I really enjoy what I do. I like to, food for the soul is what I say. Like this, I enjoy what I do, but then I enjoy like Addison was my student last year. So getting to like talk
Yeah.
with her now about this stuff and like seeing her do her passions in her classes, it really makes me happy. And like I feel a little watery right now. Like I've only known her for
I
like
didn't
a
want
year.
to say anything. I saw
Yeah,
the water.
I'm a crier. I've known her for like a year and a half, and like this makes me happy, and this is just a year turnaround. So this is
Yeah.
like incredible payoff right here.
So you said you watched her grow, and you said you also talked about watching people art grow. So you like the timeline and stuff. You like growth and
Yes, I like
people
the
getting
progression
better.
of it. Yeah, I like
That's
their,
nice,
their
yeah.
lore, if we're talking about
Kind of
so
like
like,
the lore.
the lore of
The
my
character
student.
development.
Exactly, yes. We're not static characters, we're round characters, so,
That's nice.
yeah.
And kind of going along with his question, like, could you see yourself doing this for like the rest of your life, or do you think you'd eventually like want something more?
I think I can see myself doing some form of education.
Yeah.
Before this, I was at, I had a bunch of jobs before this, but one of them was I worked at the zoo, and I taught there. So education has always been like for me. I hope that Rose Hill would have me for as long as I would like to be here. I love it. It's a fantastic time. I love the students. I love my coworkers. I love everybody here. And I hope they will have me as long as I can. So, but other than that, like if, for some reason I had to leave or, something happened, I think education/science is where I would be for the rest.
Okay. Would you, since this is going to go online, do you want to say anything to the students of Rose Hill? And final thing, just to...
Yeah. That one I was saying.
Yep.
This Saturday, October 28th, at the Charles Koch Arena in Wichita State, Rose Hill is going to be competing for our robotics season. We would love to have you. It's free. Just come on by, wear some Rose Hill pride, and cheer on the team. If you can't be there, understandable. I'll have the links for our live streams posted, so you can just watch. And then afterwards, when you see the students in the hallway, they usually wear something Rose Hill Rockets. We have our robotics T-shirts. Congratulate them. Let them know no matter how we do on Saturday, they did fantastic. That's the important part.
So where would those links be posted?
I will send them out. They'll at least be in my classroom, and I teach a lot of students. I'll try and have the links on the board outside of my room, so you guys can just QR code scan them and they pop up. If not, I'll send an email to everybody. So check your emails.
Okay. Well,
Cool.
thank you very much for spending your gracious hours with us.
For sure. Thank
Which
you.
wasn't an hour.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
Thank you. I had a fantastic time as well.
Thank you for watching At the Hill with our guest, Mr. Owens, and my host, Jonathan, and our other host, Addison. Please, again, if you're on YouTube, subscribe, and if you're on any podcast platform, just come back. We're having a great time here. He had a great time.
I had a
I hope so.
fantastic time. I did. Yeah.
Thank you
Follow,
again.
Subscribe, all that stuff.
Thanks for watching. See ya.